Hey everybody, it's Ron from Pick Dawgz. This is Ron's Bank Shot Breakdown. We're going to go over 5 college basketball games for Sunday, March 24th, 2024. And if you like what you see, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to put your college basketball picks in the comments section below. And if you're looking for my best bets, including my college basketball bank shot best bet, you can find those in the premium picks tab at pickdawgz.com. There's also a link in the description. Alrighty, here we go. Here are the games for Sunday in college hoops. First up, we see Presbyterian and Montana. This one's going to be 1 p.m. Eastern. It's the first round of the CBI. Now, I know the NCAA tournament's the most important event going on right now and where most people will be looking, but we can find a lot of value in these NIT and CBI games. And this is one of those games where, yesterday we had Chicago State plus the points in the premium area, also said to take the money line. And that one, Chicago State won that game outright. This is another one of those games where I think the underdog could win this game outright. Presbyterian having one of their better seasons in recent years. This is their first invitation to a postseason tournament since 2019. So, they're going to be motivated for this ball game. There's no doubt about that. And this was a team that was 1-6 to start Big South play, but end of the year 5-4 with a winning record in those final 9 games in the Big South in the regular season. They were one and done in the conference tournament, but they played a really tough game against Gardner-Webb, 61-60 the final score. A solid Gardner-Webb team. I think Presbyterian is pretty balanced fundamentally. Their offense is solid, and shot quality-wise, a decent team as well. Montana is, they take care of the basketball. They're a good defensive rebounding team, but one of the worries I have is they take quite a few fouls defensively, and Presbyterian does a really good job at getting to the free throw line. So I think the Blue Hose are going to have a lot of points at the free throw line in this ballgame, a lot of opportunities there, and I think this is going to be a close game. Presbyterian, more of a fast-paced team. Montana likes to slow things down, so we'll have to see who dictates the tempo, but I think Presbyterian's a live dog in this game. I'm going to take them plus the points on the money line in this first round ball game. Next up, we see Georgia and Wake Forest in the second round of the NIT. This one's going to be a 4 p.m. Eastern start time on ESPN2. I think this might be our last chance to fade Mike White this season, as I think Georgia is in trouble in this game. I think Wake Forest has the talent to win this entire NIT. I think they were one of the better teams that were left out of the NCAA tournament this year. They're 26th in KenPom for good reason, and this is a team that plays really well at home. They only lost one home game all season, and that was one of the their last or the second to last home game of the year against Georgia Tech. They lost that game by 1 point in upset, but they were one of the better home teams in the ACC. They're home for this contest, and I think their offense is superior by far. They're a balanced offense, a great free throw shooting team, great three-point shooting team, and they get a good amount of their points from two-point range with their top 40 in field goal percentage there as well. They take care of the basketball defensively. I think they're underrated. Good defensive rebounding team. They defend the perimeter really well, which is important against Georgia, a team that takes quite a few threes. Georgia has some injury issues right now, and I think Wake Forest takes advantage. I'm going to go with the Demon Deacons in this one. Our last chance to fade Mike White this season. I think we go out with a cover with Wake Forest. Next up, we see Grand Canyon, Alabama. This one's going to be a second-round NCAA tournament game, the 12-4 matchup. It's going to be 7:10 Eastern on TBS. Grand Canyon, I've actually faded them in that first-round game against St. Mary's. I actually like the Gales in that one. And I got to give Grand Canyon credit. They played really well. 75-66, an outright W as around a 5.5 point dog. And it wasn't even an amazing shooting performance from Grand Canyon. They were 27.8% from three-point range, 52% from 2-point range. But they won that game putting up 75 points on a very good St. Mary's defense. And one of the keys was Grand Canyon, they got to the free throw line 36 times. That's something they've done all season long. They get to the free throw line like nobody's business, and they're a good free throw shooting team, top 50 in the nation. And that's why I like their chances here to compete in this ballgame. Alabama, we know there's not a great defense to begin with, but one of the things they really struggle with is discipline. They take a ton of fouls, and teams can get to the free throw line and do a lot of damage against this Alabama defense. I think we see the Antelopes have 25, 30-plus attempts in this game for the charity stripe. And, Alabama, very potent offense. This team could score 100 points. We've seen it so many times this season, scoring 100-plus points. We saw it in the first round of the NCAA tournament against Charleston. However, the defense scares me. They gave up 96 in that game. We've seen them give up 105, 117, and they were a one-and-done in the SEC tournament. We know, those teams that lose their first game of the conference tournaments usually don't go too far in the big dance. So I worry about Alabama here. I'm going to go Grand Canyon and take the points. Next up, we see Northwestern and Yukon. This one's going to be the 9-1 matchup in the East Region second round game, 7:45 Eastern on True TV. Yukon looked absolutely dominant in that first round game. You never want to overreact to one performance in the tournament, especially the first round, the 116 matchup. But I mean, Stetson's a really potent offense, a great three-point shooting team. To hold that team to 52 points and win that game 91-52, There's no surprise that Yukon won it all last year, expects to win it all this year. The betting favorite to win it this year. And even if you ask Coach Hurley at halftime of that game, he wasn't impressed. He thought that the Huskies could have definitely cleaned some things up in that first half. It shows you what they expect, greatness from this team. And I think they win this game and cover the number, honestly. Northwestern, last year they won a game in the first round, and then they covered against UCLA in the second round before being eliminated. But I don't think they get to cover in this game. This team, they're coming off a huge emotional overtime victory against FAU. It was a blowout, honestly, at the end of that game, 77-65. But an emotional game where it was back and forth in regulation, and it's tough to come back from that game, especially when you're playing Yukon. I mean, I do expect a letdown here. Not a fundamentally sound team. They're not a great rebounding team. They do take care of the basketball, but their offense is a little bit too one-dimensional for me. They're a great three-point shooting team. They're 7th best in the country. They score a lot of their points from the perimeter, but they don't get to the free throw line much. And their two-point field goal percentage ranked 216th. With those injuries on top of it, I just can't get there with Northwestern. They're ranked 272nd in three-point defense. We saw, Stetson really struggle to defend the perimeter in that ball game against Yukon, and I expect Northwestern to do the same. So give me give me Yukon in this one. I'm gonna lay the big number. Next up, we see Yale and San Diego State. This one's going to be a 9:40 Eastern start time on TBS. Winner of this matchup, the 13-5 matchup, they're going to play the winner of that Northwestern Yukon game. So, in this game, Yale was one of our first round upset picks in that game against Auburn, a 78-76 win for Yale. Now, it was a game that was filled with some controversy in terms of the officiating. I think that Yale was certainly the beneficiary of some questionable calls, but I think it goes both ways. At the end of the day, I mean, Auburn had 22 free throw attempts and quite a few at the end of that ball game as well. But nonetheless, still got to give credit to Yale. They played a great basketball game on both ends of the court. Their defense really stepped it up against a potent Auburn offense that was rolling. I mean, Auburn, they won the SEC championship, and Yale was able to earn that outright W. Now, I don't know if they're going to shoot 45% from three the rest of the tournament, but there's still a team that's really improving their shooting numbers. I actually mentioned that, going into the Ivy League tournament and going into that, NCAA tournament game, their shooting numbers were improving. They were creating really good looks shot quality-wise. Their defense was always there. Fundamentally, there's a lot to like about this Yale team. They take care of the basketball. They're a great defensive rebounding team. Really important things to do against the San Diego State team. I mean, San Diego State, they're going to be able to force those turnovers, force those tough shots, so Yale has to be able to take care of the basketball. I think they do well here. I think San Diego State, the worry with this team, even though they've been, they went to the national championship last year and they took care of, a really surging UAB team in the first round. Their offense can, go a few minutes without buckets at times. And that's what really scares me when you're laying points with a team that offensively, you just can't trust them at all times. They're not a great shooting team. 3/10 in three-point shooting, 226 in effective field goal percentage. So to me, Yale's a live dog yet again. I'm going to take the points with the Bulldogs. I'm not sure they win this one outright, but I think they at least cover. And that's it. Those are the games for Sunday in college basketball. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. And don't forget to put your college basketball picks in the comments section below. Again, if you're looking for my best bets, you can find those at Pick Dawgz Premium. As always, this is Ron Romanelli. Good luck.